Good evening, everybody. Big Michael D sitting behind the mic now with his co-host Ron. Tonight's title would be "Should Police Power Get Pulled Back?" Ron?
Yeah. In some ways, it should. They should, for instance, the tasing that they do. It shouldn't be done more than once or twice. That's a lot of it's a lot of current going through a human body, and they kill people sometimes, and it's just not the right thing to do. Even if they're under the influence of a drug or something like that, and the tase doesn't seem to work, they shouldn't keep doing it. What do you think about this?
Oh, I agree with you. They shouldn't be tasing anybody at all. That's 50,000 volts going through your body. That's just not called for. You know, what if it's somebody elderly and they tase them? 90% of the time, they won't survive it. I mean, and then, would that be right?
I don't think so, Mike. I just think that the less violence used to take a person into custody, the better. Especially nowadays, since we have all this going on with people accusing police of being brutal and everything like that. I'm sure it's not a great number of police that's doing it. You'd think half the police force is doing this to people, but that's not so. But even if a few out of 100 are doing these things, it's just not right.
That's right. I agree with you. It's not right. But, you know, maybe the police departments need to be retrained in a better way so none of this occurs anymore. You know, my thought along those lines are, what would happen if they trained each police officer how to be a sniper? If that was said like this, then you don't have to wait on the SWAT team, especially if the SWAT team is tied up for maybe 45 minutes or an hour. If a hostage situation, they can start negotiations right then, right there. They should learn how to negotiate as well as use the sniper rifle. You Ron?
Well, that's increasing their power right there. And I don't know. I'm for them pulling back on some of this police power and things like that. They need to be retrained. It's getting violent. I don't know. SWAT teams, they're useful, like in a hostage situation, like if people being held in a bank and being held hostage and everything. They're useful in drug busts and things like that. But I'll tell you, on the ordinary citizen and things like that,
mm-hmm. Right.
You got a situation where something might be like a crazy man and things like that. Are they going to sniper him to keep him from doing any more, or run him off the road, or what? I'm puzzled as to why anybody would want police to have any more power over anything. I say just pull back a little bit. What do you say?
So what you're saying basically is they should all be retrained over again, but in a different manner. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there should be some absolutes, like things that they absolutely can do and things they absolutely cannot do. They have to brush up on that. That's all there is to it.
Well, sort of like that situation that happened in Buffalo, New York. Well, you know, I believe that most of them should be retrained the proper way after all that incident. All right,
Yeah.
and I can't say that any other police department's better than the other one. You know, maybe they all need to be retrained a different way. It could be.
Mm-hmm. Well, there should be some uniformity with all police departments in all states. I'm all for just one set of rules for all of them.
Oh, I agree with you. But I believe also that the handbook needs to be rewritten. Okay? Because, you know, let's face it, there are a few bad cops somewhere along the line. Okay? That go beyond the call of duty, which is actually killing somebody when they shouldn't have. You know? So I believe that something should be changed in the police manual book. Okay? You know, whether they practice that or not, I don't know.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I agree, but they need a universal manual for all the police forces everywhere, especially just in the United States. Maybe not worldwide or anything. Let those other nations run their police departments the way they want to. But I think it should be uniform for the United States that all police departments adhere to the same set of rules, not to do the work of the National Guard and that kind of thing. I mean, this crowd control stuff with our police departments, I've said it before and I'll say it again. When it's all over, these policemen live in these towns where they control crowds. And if it doesn't turn out so good, they have to face that scorn every day they're on duty. If they wait for the National Guard to come along and take over, the National Guard just comes in, does their job, and they go away. And they're not. They don't have to live around these people. I mean, they're not living anywhere near them, and they don't face the scorn that the local police would face. See?
This is true.
Yeah.
I will say that a good majority of the police are respected by the local community, you know, day in, day out, until a couple of bad ones come along and they kind of make it bad for everybody else along the line. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, keeping everything in uniform would be the greatest thing of all. If in each little town, if the commissioners and mayors sat down in their office and they had a talk, you know, how to hammer out this thing, where no one makes a bad mistake like in Buffalo, all right, or any other city, for that fact. So they need to sit down, hammer this thing out, and don't stop having meetings until they've changed policies along the line.
Right.
Ron?
Mike, it kind of, though, it befuddles me why, when something happens in one city, all this demonstrating and all this rioting goes on in all the cities. I mean, that's kind of strange. I mean, in cities that aren't responsible for this kind of thing. I mean, even for some of this demonstrating to go all the way to Europe and things like that, I just can't understand all of this. I mean, whatever mistakes have been made should be owned by the local police of that city. I can see demonstrations in that city going on, and everything, but all over the United States and even parts of Europe. I mean, that's just, I just don't understand that mentality.
That's
really
just uncalled for. There's no sense.
Yeah.
There's no sense in it whatsoever. You know.
No. There's got to be outside interference that to just. I mean, there are people that are paid to stir up trouble and things like that, and they get in there. I know that for a fact, and they just get in there and they stir up trouble, and in different cities, a whole bunch of different cities, and sometimes these paid people number more than the people that they can recruit to start trouble. And what does it lead to? It leads to violence. Cars get set on fire. Businesses get set on fire. Police get shot at. Civilians get shot at. And then looting starts. I mean, this is just crazy. They've got to catch some of these people that are stirring up the crowds and prosecute them to the limit. They just have to get some stiff sentences.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
Let them collect their money when they get out of prison. I'm telling you, they're stirring up the crowds. It's just awful. We're living in pretty tough times. It's getting worse all the time.
The same situation happened in Miami in the mid-'60s, I believe it was. That they had the riots in Miami. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And even the fire department was called in. Yeah, it was just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, just setting things on fire, of course.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to need fire department to put it out. There's another thing, though. Even in peaceful demonstrations, I have heard that the police throw tear gas at them to steer them another way, you know?
Yes. Yes.
That's kind of crazy. That kind of incites things. I don't get it. If it's a peaceful demonstration, why rile them up?
Well, that's the whole thing in a nutshell. If the police department threw tear gas at a peaceful demonstration, well, don't you think the protesters are going to retaliate?
Okay. Looks like they have many times. They don't just go away and go home.
No, they didn't bring a lunch. That's their problem.
Yeah.
That's the only problem there.
Mike, here's something about should police power be pulled back. It seems okay lately for police to shoot at people they want to arrest that are resisting arrest, even when they're running away from them, to shoot them in the back and everything like that. I mean, that's what happened to this Rayshard, what's his last name again?
Brooks.
Yeah, Rayshard Brooks. Atlanta, Georgia, I think that happened. And, I mean, he's running with the police, and he gets shot twice in the back and dies. I mean, is that right? Essentially, that's what he got killed for, resisting arrest.
Resisting
an
arrest.
An autopsy says it's homicide now. But what do you think about that? I mean, isn't that abuse of police power?
Yes, I would think it would be. But let me say that a taser isn't a weapon either. Not classified a weapon. All right? So if the suspect was running away and then he got shot in the back, then that's totally wrong. Why would you shoot somebody in the back? Why can't they just say, hey, listen, you've had too much to drink, go home. I'll even pay for your Uber. Be nice about things. It would be a better country if they did.
Yeah, I think I think this fellow was caught sleeping in his car.